Hello guys, how's it going? Screezilla here, I hope you're all well. So, Operation Dynamo once more, and this time we are aboard HMS Anthony. So, I guess I should start this off by saying Portia in adieu, being that was her motto, brave under difficulties. HMS Anthony is one of the A-class destroyers, hence the name Anthony. She had a pretty eventful life during the war. Now, before I get too much in depth about talking about the ship, I'm just going to talk a bit about the operation. So, I've just managed to 5-star it twice in a row. Huzzah! Both times I think I spent more time talking to my team and trying to corral them up and get them working together than actually watching what I was doing. Which is the hardest part. I think, getting teamwork in a pickup group is like herding cats. It's almost an impossibility. But when you manage it, bloody hell does it feel good. So, we'll talk a bit about 5-starring this operation in a moment. Before we do, we'll talk about the boat. So, the Anthony had a complement of 138 crew. She had 4 7-inch guns, 120mm. She carried... Scroll down. Where am I? She carried 2-pounder anti-aircraft guns and 2 quadruple 21-inch torpedoes, along with 6 depth charges. In game, we've got a little bit of a different setup. She's got 12 50 cals and 2 40mm guns. Now, do apologise a bit for this video today. I am extremely tired. I've just got back to work for the first time in about a year after concussion issues. So yay, I'm back to work at last, so that's good news. But yeah, I'm pretty tired from it. So forgive me if I'm a little bit spacey. So where am I? She had a top speed of 35 knots, about 40 miles per hour. Weighed a standard of 101,370 tons. There we go, finally got there. It's just pretty fast and a pretty decent destroyer, along with all the A classes. Now, the main story is her Second World War effort. She was deployed with the 18th Destroyer Flotilla at Portland, near to where I grew up. If you don't know, I'm from Dorset in England. That's my accent, mixed with a little bit of an Australian accent, because I've lived here for coming on 12 years almost. And she worked across the southern and western approaches. In November, Anthony was transferred to the 23rd Destroyer Flotilla, operating on the east coast. In January of 1940, she and her sisters, Achetes and Arrow, did the escort duties for battleship Royal Sovereign, part of the way to Halifax. Anthony transferred to Portsmouth in March, joining the 16th Destroyer Flotilla. There we go. And in May, she took part in Dunkirk. She evacuated around 3,000 personnel during the evacuation, which is an outstanding amount of people when you think about it. When you look at how many people you're transporting on the ship, you see those numbers. You've got 500 people on board. Imagine 500 people on board a destroyer. Just think about it. Now, my granddad served on a destroyer. He also served on a county class cruiser as well, but he finished his military service on a destroyer. Um, Destroyers are not very big ships. They're relatively big, but they're not very big when you've got 160, 170 people on board them. It's hard to imagine how tight and how many people are on these boats. And then when you think about the Dunkirk evacuation, when these ships were carrying up to 700, 800 people aboard, people were hanging off the edges of the ships under constant fire from the enemy. It is a harrowing thing to think about. And these brave men, brave people who took part in this amazing evacuation, it leaves me speechless. But anyway, the Anthony rescued 3,000 personnel. On the 30th of May, she sustained some damage in an air attack and had to remain in port for repairs. She returned to duty in June, now based in Harwich, assigned to the Home Fleet. She carried out convoy and escort missions, and eventually she... where am I? She joined the 3rd Flotilla Destroyer, the 3rd Destroyer Flotilla in December, and spent the next few months escorting a couple of British ships, mainly the battlecruiser Hood and the battleship Prince of Wales, as they tracked the German ship the Bismarck. She was detached to refuel at Iceland on the 24th of May and missed the Battle of Denmark Strait, so she was not there for when the Hood got hit. But she did partake in operations off of Norway and Operation Gauntlet, the raid on Spitsbergen, on the 16th of August. So, she had a very big career. She carried on to the end of the war and ended her days as a training ship for anti-aircraft crews. All in all, the Anthony had a bloody good good history, really, and she deserved more than she got. Like so many of the great ships of the war, she was broken up for salvage in 1948. Yeah, which is a real shame because there aren't many ships from this era. The Bilsvik, the Polish destroyer, is the oldest destroyer known. The oldest living destroyer, and it's a shame because there are so many of these amazing ships that could have been great for history but never made it. Alright, so me rambling on about history done. There is much more I could say on this boat because it really does have a great history. Look her up because HMS Anthony was one of the more interesting boats to read about in the war. Had a pretty lively career, and a lucky one to say the least as well. So now let's talk about Operation Dynamo, and more importantly, let's talk about winning it. Now, as you've probably noticed in my chat, I am constantly talking to the team, and this is because I'm trying to get them to stick together. Now, you'll notice with these destroyers, they have bugger all anti-aircraft defence. With a flag on board, I think you got 5. And that's it. And that's with crew training as well. I'll show you the end of the battle, sort of flags and bits and bobs like that. But, you know, even if you train your captain to be completely AA focused, you still struggle like mad with this mission. And it's hard. There's no line. This is a really hard mission. It's fun, but it's bloody hard. You've got the mines to worry about. You've got to constantly be on the lookout for them. You've got the Schnellboats. You've got the... Sorry, I keep calling them Schnellboats. E-boats. Wait, no, they are Schnellboats. What am I talking about? You've got the Schnellboats to worry about. You've got the planes to worry about. And the bombs really do cause a lot of damage. One or two torpedo hits can cripple you easily. 2 hits from the bombs can destroy you. So you've really got to be careful, and keeping together is the main part of this. You need to have a tailgun Charlie, so you want to have a destroyer sitting towards the back of the flotilla. So someone around this area here. You only need one back here just to take care of the Schnellboats, but you need the rest of your crews up front. And it's really important that you get to this area for the air battle. You want to save as many of the fighters as you possibly can, because, well, they're going to be the thing that keep you alive. If you don't protect the British fighters that come, I think Dauntlesses, Defiance, that come over, you don't have enough AAA defense and weaponry to take care of the ensuing combat. You really want to save those fighters because they really do make your life a shit ton easier. Now we've got a lot of Schnellboats coming in here, but if you can take care of them, then you're doing well. I did some terrible shooting this evening, I must admit. As well as shooting my own ships, apparently. But this is where you're needed. You need to take out these aircraft. The more of these bastards you take out, the easier it's going to be. Now, my last mission, we had 6 Cyclones and 1 Anthony on our team. And we kept a much closer formation in this area, and it was a lot easier. This round we lost a lot more British fighters, for sure. And it did make it a little bit tricky towards the end. A few of our ships were torpedoed. But I think we managed to keep 1 or 2 alive, which really did make our job a lot easier. And that's the thing, is the more of these fighters you keep alive, the easier it's going to be towards the end. Because you get a huge wave of torpedo bombers and dive bombers coming at you, as well as the Schnellboats. When you get close to port, you get a huge wave of enemies. Now the other thing is you've got to try and keep the flotilla alive, and that's really hard. It's one of the more difficult aspects because, well, AI are never known for their intelligence, which is a bit amusing considering they're called artificial intelligence. But the main thing is you've got to try and keep them alive. Now, luckily, the enemy will focus on you. Not the Schnellboats, but the planes will focus on you generally. If you keep a good tight formation, you're going to basically be able to shoot down the planes a lot quicker. And this mission is all about shooting down the planes. Now, one of the Cyclone there just took a huge hit, unfortunately, and is about to go down from sinking. Any second now. Almost looks like I ram it, but she actually goes down from sinking there. So, get some of the survivors on board my ship. Now, what you need to do to get this to 5 stars is get 7,000 soldiers to Dover. You also need to have 7 civilian ships survive. You need to shoot down 80 bombers, and torpedo planes, as well as taking out 25 Schnell boats and 10 waves of fighters. Now the fighters are easy enough if you do what we did in this game and sit where the main battle happens. The bombers and torpedo planes are a little bit more difficult, of course, because, well, you really need the help of a fighter to be able to take them out. So this is where trying to keep those guys alive makes the difference. Now, it started to look a little bit sketchy here because we started to spread out a fair bit, but luckily we did manage to keep it going. We've lost 2 of our destroyers and a couple of the civilian ships, but the main thing is you really need to worry about planes. The Schnell boats are dangerous. The 3rd destroyer's just been taken out. The Schnell boats are dangerous, of course. They really are dangerous once they get up close. But they've only got 2 salvos of torpedoes to launch at you. And they only take 2 hits to kill with your guns. Now, you can take them out relatively easily, but you need to take them out before they get too close to your ships. Luckily, most of the civilian ships will take a hit from a torpedo, but a bomb will absolutely wreck them. Also, I find the torpedo bombers tend to be a bit more damaging than the Schnell boats, so you've really got to take out those planes. This whole mission is about taking out planes, really. The Schnell boats aren't too bad. You can take them out pretty easily. But the planes are the hard part because you lack so much AAA. So making sure that your team sticks close together and making sure you all stick close together is the important part here. Because if you're spread out, you're not going to have the AAA defense you need to win this battle. And I've seen it so many times that people have sped ahead to get to Dover in their destroyer and left the fleet behind, or they've gone cruising over this way, you know, trying to kill some Schnell boats or some planes, things like that. And they do manage to take a little bit of flack away from you, but you need that group mentality to win. And luckily in this round we did well and used it and won. So I hope you found this useful for future reference. There's a bit more of a video to go. I recorded that after I finished this, actually, so the end of the video will come well, now, I guess. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get the full 5 stars for Operation Dynamo. It is not easy and it takes a lot of work. This is my 2nd run in a row where I've actually got the full 5 stars, and I had to constantly talk to the team about, you know, just keeping close. And even so, people just don't listen. It's pretty hard in a random mission, but when people do work together, it's really easy. As you see, I was probably the lowest scoring person because I spent most of my time actually trying to keep everybody on task. Because what I find is people will just go off and do their own thing with it. So I think keeping people on task is the most important job. Really good job to the team there. It's never an easy mission though. That last bit is really hard, but well, it's nice to actually get a victory and get a win with all the stars for this. So let's just see what we got. So we got 140,000 credits. We got almost 3,000 experienced. This is on premium because, as I said, for the last mission I actually got all the stars as well, so I got premium account for 24 hours. Not a huge amount of damage done by myself, in all honesty. I think I spent most of the time actually just face palming and just saying, do it this way, no, do it this way, no, guys, stop, do it this way, keep together. But you need that person on the team just to keep everybody in sync. If everybody at the start says, yes, I know what I'm doing, then life would be easier. So let's head back to port and see what we got in the chest. And while we're here, we'll just have a look over the Anthony. So I've talked about her historical prowess and all of that, but here's just a little bit of a port view for her. Bugger all armour, of course. It's a destroyer, what do you expect? But you can see the gun layout at least. The AAA defence is pretty average, but it's better than the Cyclone with the pom-pom guns and the acrylians. They really do make a difference. Actually, I don't think it's acrylians. You've got this 40mm hit, these two 40mm that do help for that long range, and the pom-pom gun here with the 50 cals. That's not even a pom-pom gun, is it? What am I talking about? Sorry, I'm a bit tired, a bit worn out after that battle. But as you can see, the ship's got pretty decent AAA coverage for a destroyer. I recommend using the flag for this one, which I think I've just run out of. Or I might have got some more, actually. No, I did run out of it. So, yeah, use the November Echo flag, because that extra little bit of AAA defense really does help a lot. So, HMS Anthony, a pretty legendary ship, did its job very well in Dunkirk, did its job well today as well. Thank you very much, Destroyer. I really hope that Wargaming actually put these destroyers back into the game along with the Cyclone, because it would be nice to have some variety of ships in the game. I can see them coming in eventually, but seeing they're already here and reasonably well balanced, it would be nice to see them in game. It would be nice as a gift for everybody just to get them as free premium ships or something. Anyway, let's head off and open up our box. So this is the Dunkirk container. I think this is one of the smaller ones. There's some different levels. Let's crack her open. So we've got a duplicate Stuka. We got the Aronia motor yacht. And we also got a Hydra flag. So the Hydra is not bad at all. So yes. I think you get a couple of coins for duplicates. But as you see here, we've got our collection coming along. Still need a lot more though, to get the full complement of collections. And once it's done, of course, you do get that special captain for the British Navy, Mr. Jack Dunkirk. So 10-point captain is never a bad thing. And of course, with getting a 4-star thingy, a 4-star victory, that's the word I'm looking for, we also got our 10-point French captain. So that is great news for me, so I can finally pop him on a French destroyer, one of my French cruisers, and put a 10-point captain. Maybe I'll go for the Glacier there, but I will work that out later. Until then, even. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. This is Screezilla out. Bye bye.